Remembering this is an election year, while we've been focused elsewhere, this year's election will stretch the very fabric of America's democratic premise. So, Ed, what happens if there's no election?
It's an odd thought that there'd be no election, but I suppose people have to think about it. And so you can look at the Constitution. And it makes clear in the 20th Amendment that without an election, the current president's term, or even with an election, the current president's term ends at noon on January 20th. What happens if there hasn't been an election? Well, what you can fall back on without an election is the states can just name electors. But it doesn't quite stop then, because they have to send those people they name as electors off to Congress. And the Constitution says that they have to be counted, and they have to be counted in front of the House and Senate. Well, if there's no election, there's a question of, is there a House of Representatives? There will be a Senate. We know there'll be a Senate because the Senate's a continuing body. And this year, even though the senators and current House members' terms end on January 3rd, 2/3 of the Senate will go on. But the question is, would there be a House of Representatives? They can only be elected. And if they required that the votes indeed had to be counted by the House and the Senate, then under the lines of succession, if there's no House of Representatives, there's no Speaker, there's no Vice President because his term too ends. Well, we're left with the President pro tem of the Senate, which by tradition, with the Democratic-controlled Senate, would be Patrick Leahy of Vermont.